Hello, everybody. Well, welcome to another amazing session here at Brand Innovators. Josh Golden, the CMO of Quad. Fernando Machado, ladies and gentlemen, worldwide brand marketing genius. Now,
Oh my God! What an overpromise!
no, not an overpromise, ladies and gentlemen. If you do not know Fernando Machado, you do not know creative brilliance. You have just come out of. Do you want to say hello and welcome everyone?
Hi everyone, thanks for having me. I hope everyone can listen to us.
So you just came out of the judging for gaming, right? What was that like?
It was pretty cool. It was the first time.
Can you tell us who won, by the way?
Huh?
Can you tell us who won?
I can't, but tonight you will be able to go
Very
to the
soon.
Palais and see it. But like it was really fun. It was the first time that that the gaming category came in Cannes. It's part of the entertainment track. So we had like a really good body of work. It was work from the two last years because it's the first time the category is judged in Cannes. So they're allowed to send 2 years of work. And there was some really, really cool stuff there. Not just from gaming brands doing great work, but from like CPG brands and brands from other categories partnering with gaming brands to do some cool stuff. Like if you're not from the gaming industry, I think it's really worth taking a look on the cases. You know, everything that got a medal, and even the shortlist stuff. There is some really, really cool stuff. I would go through all that material because I think it gives some really good insights on how to reach the community of gamers in a effective way.
So, Fernando, just for the benefit of folks who don't know you, how many Cannes Lions have you won?
I don't know.
No idea?
I've like 200 and something.
270, ladies and gentlemen.
And something. I don't know if it's 70.
200 something. A lot. So, yeah, right? I mean, seriously, Fernando. So yeah, Burger King was brilliant work. Sorry, tell me about your most favorite Cannes Lion win.
I think it was when we won the Titanium Grand Prix for Real Beauty Sketches back in
Real Beauty,
2013.
sure.
Like we won 24 Lions with sketches and four or five others with some other stuff from Dove. Dove is such an amazing brand. Unilever does such a great work, like purpose-driven, social mission, and driving sales and brand growth. So I was really proud of that body of work. We had an amazing team. We did some really cool stuff with Burger King too, but that was the first time like I participated on a campaign that won a Grand Prix. So that was like a really, really special one.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Grand Prix is the ultimate. So having that, I'm sure that was a memorable
the
one.
Titanium one in particular, I think it's like really, really hard to win because it really needs to be like groundbreaking work, never done before. Whopper the Tour also won a Titanium Grand Prix, but like sketches is like really, really special. I remember when the campaign broke, like this is 10 years ago, but like everyone in the world was talking about sketches. It was really, really like impressive to see, and I still like get the chills and just thinking about like that week when we launched and literally the entire team didn't sleep because we were like engaging in social non-stop. First time that we bought media globally, digital media globally centrally at Unilever, and the team was working so hard. I was like picking pizzas and Red Bull and bringing to the team. The first 48 hours, no one slept. We stayed the whole day and night in Unilever. It was amazing, but it was a special moment.
I think we bring up an important point. I was just in a conversation earlier today, and we talked about basically advertising is messaging at the speed of culture. And I believe that Dove campaign happened to sort of connect really well with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that not just the campaign, but the way we deployed the campaign and how we engaged with people. Now it's common, you know, like now everyone has a war room when you're launching a campaign and everyone is like doing programmatic. Back in the day, we didn't, you know, like so a lot of the stuff that we did was like manual. And that's why we had to be there 48 hours in a row, like to make the stuff happen.
Can you extrapolate, if you could, backwards? If you had the benefit of AI at the time of that launch, what would you have? How could that have changed that work and benefited it, or do you think it would have made it different?
I don't think I would necessarily use AI on that specific work to do creative, but like we are literally like doing programmatically manually. You know, like I had a.
You're turning on and off, like, oh, I'm not, turn that one
We
off.
had like a blackboard, and I'm not joking, like with all the countries that were important for Dove, and we had the different channels, and we would go put like $10,000, see what was driving the most engagement, the least cost in terms of impression, And then we would put 100K. And then we would put 10K and 100K. And we were spending the budget like this. But it was literally like all done manually. Back in the day, like all the counters would buy media. No one would buy media globally, right? So we didn't even know how to do it. So I've learned a lot, and it was fun to do it manually so that you see how AI or how programmatic can help you, like save time and do it much better than what we're doing. But like it was cool to do it, and I would change that part if I could go
that
back
part,
in
yeah,
time.
that's it.
And maybe I would have got 2 hours of sleep at least.
Well, you should have called Quad at the time, Fernando.
My
We should
God,
have
like-
could have helped you.
The world was collapsing. Didn't even have time to call home. Like, but it was fun. Today we have tools. By the way, I want to talk a little bit about Quad.
Yeah, Fernando, I would love to talk about Quad.
You give me my plug for me to talk about Dove. Like, so why should I have called Quad?
Oh my God, this is so awesome. Let's see. So Quad is historically is well known as a manufacturing and printing company, Quad Graphics originally, and over the last about 5 to 8 years, we've done about 10 acquisitions and 50 agencies and production companies and solutions that allow for us to be better in service to the marketer. So while all of us marketers are endlessly in service to the consumer, providing the best CX we possibly can, Quad has a full through-the-line solution from creative and agency deliverables all the way down through printing. And that is a kind of, for me, the reason I took the job, because it was such a differentiated model for me that we can help the marketer solve their problem in a way that, frankly, most agencies just can't. And that's why I took the job. And that's why I'm so excited to be here representing Quad. First time here at Cannes. Quad is here telling our story.
Nice, welcome.
Fernando, that was nice of you. Thank you for that. I'm interested in, just because I know that there's, was there any implications in your gaming jury that we were just in, and having AI sort of, was there any, like, do you see starting to see the little bit of AI feeding start to changing what was being in the gaming world?
No, not on the body of work that we judged, which doesn't mean that it's not affecting gaming, right? But at least on the body of work that we judged this year, there was not much of AI. I know that in other categories there was a lot of AI, but in gaming there was less so. I do think that AI will affect gaming, even like on the creative side, or at least on the development of assets.
Yes, I've seen online, like I'm watching content, I'm like, is this real? Is this pretend? Is this someone made this up? How do you feel about that creative process being influenced by potentially that kind of
specifically in gaming?
In gaming, or potentially in creative. I mean, I'm just looking at the future of the industry and how it's going to be changed. And someone like you, coming from your background and your brilliant history of creative work, even me as a marketer, I'm like, I'm using ChatGPT to help me come up with here's 12 names of something. I use it as a tool. Do you?
Yeah. But that's why that's the way I use it. And I know that I'm just repeating what you're saying, but like as a tool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I believe in humans.
Like a
plus
calculator.
AI. Yeah, well, I mean, I think technology is an enabler for you to do more, or for you to do things that you couldn't do before. And AI is technology. So, but I also believe that it's a tool, meaning you need someone there. You know, like I think that if you don't have someone there, even if you have a great programmatic model, like you run the risk of proliferating shitty assets. You know, like I think you need people with criteria using, operating the model. Like I'm working for NotCo today. NotCo is a food tech company. We use AI to create plant-based food. Yeah, but we use AI. Like, there is a team of chefs, a team of R&D, a team of AI people, and Giuseppe, which is the name of our AI, help us create the recipes that we end up like producing.
Are there any that have been like, that's amazing and that's total shit?
Yeah, all the time. Because the way it works is, for instance, let's say we analyze chocolate. So I do a chromatography study. I check the physical properties of chocolate. I go to Giuseppe and I say, Giuseppe, this is chocolate. Giuseppe cannot eat, so he doesn't know. For him, it's a bunch of numbers.
Like,
Yeah. And then Giuseppe says, like, well, if you want to replicate that without cacao and without milk, here are 5 recipes. So then the guys go, like the chef team that's very talented, prepares the recipes and tell Giuseppe, oh, number 3 out of these 5 was the best. And then Giuseppe creates another 5. And it ends up converging to the best recipe. I mean, I don't know how many people here from the U.S., but if you go to the U.S., if you are from the U.S., Shake Shack today, the custard and the shake are from NotCo. in the US. What would probably take normal companies like 2 years, I don't even know, to create, we did it in 3 weeks because of AI. Like we are doing every single one of the main products from Kraft Heinz as a joint venture. Like we have our own products. We are market leaders in many countries in Latin America. The company started in Chile. And in Chile is a local pride, and we are market leaders in mayo, milk, like on plant-based, right? So like it's fun. And I think that's just the beginning, by the way.
Right.
Because like I can also ask Giuseppe, this is chocolate. Humans like chocolate. Give me a flavor that's not chocolate, that it doesn't exist, but that you think humans will also like. Like a Spotify, if you like the song, you also like that one. We can do that type of stuff.
This is what I think is the most important part. Not that we haven't heard about AI this week enough, but I will tell you that this is the piece that I want to hammer, and Fernando just touched on it, that it isn't necessarily that content is being created whole cloth by any computer. I think of it as a partner, as a bounce off, as like, give me 5 ideas about this topic, and most of them are just horrible. But something it triggers a little thing in my brain that makes it itch. And like, oh, that's an interesting thought. I'm gonna go down that hole. And now thinking about, I'm not even thinking about songwriters. Give me 10 chord changes that would be interesting in jazz, going from a C to F to to a G to a B sharp, and then how can I work that in? These are the things I think the tools like a calculator is going to be applied for creativity. Am I off? Okay.
No, and kind of like we use also in design. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we are trying to see different ways into a certain design, and we play with Midjourney and others. Like it doesn't mean that I'm going to copy paste whatever Midjourney shows us, but we can. Oh, okay. I never thought about it this way. And then you can go and play around that territory. So we do that too, but it's always a person operating. Our head of design sent me this really funny meme. You guys probably have seen it already. That it was something like for AI to work in design, marketeers will need to tell AI what they want, so we are safe, the designers, right? Because like we don't know what we want most of the time. So I think you need the person there.
So, from a creative perspective, you are probably one of the most foremost marketers that I would go to talking about insights about creativity. For people that are watching this, that are just starting their career in this, how can they best position themselves to stand on the shoulders of the giants that have come before them and take advantage of the tools that are at their fingertips? Is anything changed dramatically that you think, oh, this is different from when I was coming up?
I think that there are many things that are different, but I think that the key things, they are probably the same. You know what I mean? Yes.
Really?
Well, I mean, when I was a kid, like when I was in the beginning of my career, and I was a trainee in Unilever, I knew that I loved advertising design. But I had absolutely no idea how to do any of the great work. Any of the stuff that I thought it was great, that's great.
So you saw it, you knew, what was it about the great work that you were like, that is really good because...
Because it stands out, because it's different, because I would remember 25 years later, which I still do, like I remember WhatsApp, I remember Mini Counterfeit, I remember all the stuff that I used to like when I was watching in a VHS tape, The Reel from Cannes.
VHS, guys.
Like sometimes it was a beta, like I don't know if you even know what that is, like a big tape that the agency would have like the thing for us to play. And we used to buy beers and just watch ads. You know what I mean? Like, which means that I still think it's relevant if you want to do great creative work that you develop a criteria. Like, I don't think anyone is born with criteria, right? I mean, I think that it's like beer. When I was a kid and I had a sip of beer, in Brazil, that can happen.
That's okay. That's fine. It's
like,
approved.
I was like, why the hell anyone will drink this instead of Fanta? You know what I mean? Like, I hate beer. Like, and it grows on you. Same with wine. Maybe beer was not the best example. But like, I think you have you need to develop a taste for the thing and know start to learn like what's good, what's really different, what is shitty, what's cheesy, right. And then you know how to breathe, and then you learn how to work with a creative partner. It's like really like the basic fundamentals. I think that they are the exact same as they were like 25 years ago.
So now
people still get it wrong.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I've seen some shitty stuff, but I will tell you that I think it's interesting knowing my children. They're 14 and 15, and I watch how they engage with content. And I don't see them watching commercials or 30s. I see them just sliding quickly as can't fight. So how will, the creatives growing up now, they have to actually invest in watching ads, and that's not part of our culture. You grew up watching ads.
Yeah, but like I think that watching ads is one way. I think that the other way is to pay attention to what people are engaging with.
Okay, interesting.
Like I spend more time in social media than I should. Ask my wife; she wants to throw the phone.
Which is
fucking
which is your favorite social media platform?
I spend a lot of time on Twitter. I spend a lot of time on Instagram. Like I force myself to look at TikTok.
All the things, yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like
You have to force yourself to look at TikTok.
Yeah. But personally, the one that I like the most is Twitter. But like that's just sample of one person.
Yeah.
But I force myself to play with all of them so that I see what's trending, what's like, what people are talking about.
So it isn't necessarily the 30s and the 60s and the sort of landmark ads or the Super Bowl.
No, but like I think that there are many things on the stuff that call my attention back in the day that if you understand why that happened, conceptually, it could also work. I'm not saying put a 30-second ad on TikTok,
Right.
but conceptually, why did that stand out? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's less about the format and more like do something different. You know what I mean? Like break some rules in the category where you're in. Is that type of thinking, I think, comes with like knowing what great work looks like.
I think of you as a rule breaker when it comes to creativity. This is in my head. You are a non-standard, and I believe that's why you've won so many awards, because of what you created is so culturally relevant and sticks out. What do you believe at NotCo is your story that you want to get out there, and how are you going to express that in a way that's different?
Yeah, like look, I mean, I've learned a lot about NotCo around 4 or 5 years ago. A friend of mine that was the president for Burger King in Brazil, he said, hey, you need to look at this company. They're called the Not Company or NotCo, and they use AI to create plant-based products. And I was like, I'm sorry, what are they called? And he said, like, the Not Company. Really? They're called Not Company?
That was the name.
And what are the products? Like, oh, it's not milk, not mayo, not burger, not chicken. And it was like, holy crap. Like, my whole life, like, I was taught that you need to focus on the benefit when you talk about the product and not on what you don't have. And the whole company is based on that premise, and they're market leaders in some key markets, especially in Chile, where the company was born. So I was really curious about that. And then I started to follow the stuff that they were doing, and literally like 2 years later, I commented on something on LinkedIn that Matthias, who is the founder, posted, and we started to have a conversation. He was like, oh, I love the work you're doing for Burger King. I was still at Burger King. And we chatted a little bit like with DMs, but nothing happened. And then I kept following them, and to me, it's like, it's great. Like, I think, like, one of the dilemmas that people have as a marketeer, or that I had as a marketeer, is that sometimes you have a lot of money and you cannot do anything you want. And sometimes you don't have money, but you can do anything you want. I prefer the second. Like, at least I don't suffer.
You prefer the don't have money, but you can do everything you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'll find a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, now, if I have a lot of money, I cannot do anything I want, I suffer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's
the
a
other
great...
one, like, I'm finding a way. Like, we won a gold and a silver so far for NotCo. First time that NotCo ever gets even a short list in print and out of home with a campaign that probably cost $0. You know what I mean? Like, we were sued in Chile by the milk industry, and we took the lawsuit and did a print ad with the lawsuit because they were saying what we wanted to say anyway. So they cannot sue me because I'm already showing what the lawsuit is. You know, like, so that was gold in print and gold and silver in out of home, and it's shortlisted in creative
That's
strategy.
amazing.
I'm butchering the idea here. The case study is much better.
I think we got it.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, totally.
Like, I don't have money. That was zero.
Yeah.
It was like nothing.
There's a great Igor Stravinsky quote. He was a conductor in the early 20th century, and he's quoted for saying, within the greatest limitations comes the most creativity. And I think that if you have a small box or any size box that you have to live inside of, you can find that puzzle pieces that will make it work. And this is obviously what you're doing with NotCo.
So I want to help NotCo become the most cutting edge, innovative, creative startup in the food tech space. You know, like, by doing good, creating great products, we are going to create lots of like really cool stuff, not just matching the animal target, and doing campaigns that people will like, that they will really stand out and people will engage big time. And I know those sound like empty words or cliche words, but we will do it.
No, I have no doubt. How are you engaging the not plant-sensitive human? Like, for me, I eat whatever food is in front of me. My rule at Cannes, if I follow the seafood rule, if I see food, I eat it. Except if it's been sitting out in the sun, I don't eat that. But how do you plan on engaging a more generalized audience?
Yeah, like today, our main target is flexitarians, which is people who eat animal-derived product, but like want to mix a little bit of like plant-based on their diet. That's like 95% of our volume, or the volume of any like most plant-based companies are like that. It's not like vegan. The product is vegan, by the way,
right.
but like most of my vegan friends, they don't eat plant-based burgers.
Because they're not
like
interested in the taste, right?
At all. So like, why they would eat like? You know
they're like, I don't want to eat.
They are beyond that
right.
point.
Right.
And I think that as the industry evolves, and I can create a product that tastes actually better than the animal product, or I can create a product that's cheaper than the animal product, which I hope we can do when we get even more scale, or I create a product that has more benefits than the animal product. I think anyone will eat. It happens it will be plant-based. You know, I don't think people will buy just because it's plant-based. They will buy if you can offer a benefit. Like, I think that there are people who do buy because it makes them feel good. There are some people that may buy because they know it's more sustainable. But I want people to buy because it tastes great. Then you really democratize plant-based. It's like, for instance, Tesla. Like, Tesla doesn't do advertise, oh, we are good for the environment, or we are electric.
We're an amazing car.
Yeah, and they talk about the benefits of the car, the features of the car. Like, you know,
and it doesn't take
happens,
gas.
it's electric. You know, so I hope that we can do work that, oh, yeah, it's all plant-based. It happens it's plant-based, but like you're buying because you think it tastes awesome.
That's fascinating. I'm gonna, in the last 4 minutes we have here, I've opened up to Q&A if anyone wants to throw out a question. But I have one more for Fernando. No, okay. So there are, I mean, obviously we were just doing the can bingo over on the side. All the keywords that everyone was talking about that we know they're hot right now. What are the topics that you think are important that are underrepresented now that you think I'd really like to make certain that Cannes starts to see this as an important topic, or maybe
look,
where it's going?
Last year, every single panel in Cannes, if you were here, you know that it was a metaverse and NFT, right? And today, no one is talking about metaverse or NFT in any panel. Like, I do think AI is here to stay. I do think it's different.
There's no doubt.
Yeah,
it's not a Web3 kind of cool, shiny object. This is a massively important invention.
And I think it's just starting, and I think we're still experimenting and learning from it. NFT, metaverse, like even like last year, I was like, guys, I mean, people come to me saying like, oh, I want to create a bank in the metaverse. I'm like, I don't want even to go to the bank in real life. Why the hell would you want to go to the bank in the metaverse? Right. So it was a hot topic and trendy. So lots of people were like trying to do stuff on that space. I think in the case of AI, is different. You know what I mean? So I think it's here to stay. Answering your question.
Underrepresented, right?
Yeah. So to that point, I think that sometimes like the stuff that's underrepresented maybe is the stuff that's basic. You know what I mean? Like I think that purpose is not underrepresented. The importance of D&I, like everywhere. You know, like you are seeing that, and I think it is important. But like I wish, at least for marketeers, I wish there was more space to, I don't know, like to see like, hey, let's talk how to work well with a creative agency. You know, oh yeah, that's really basic. Yeah, it's really basic, but 99% of the people I know.
Let me poke at that. What is it that creative agencies? I'm just as a small plug. We really work on making its friction. Quad really works on making something frictionless for the marketer, making it easier for the marketer. I, in my experience, have seen where creative agencies sometimes stretch beyond to, frankly, make it more complex for the marketer. Why?
Yeah, like I think that most of the time is the other way around. I think that the clients screw up big time consistently. You know, like I never did a pitch in my career. You know what I mean? Like I never let my agency talk directly to procurement. You know, like I know about what are their interests and how they are doing. I want them to make money because they will help me, and I want them to treat me the same way, to understand like my stakeholders, what are my objectives, my company is doing, you know, and they are part of my team. I don't treat them as a supplier, you know, like, and it's funny because like when I was at Activision, I had to do partnerships with brands. So sometimes I was treated like an agency, right? And it sucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but no one talks about that. Like, when I see a team, a certain marketing team, not to be named, briefing an agency with a brief that's 77 pages. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sorry, it was a 77-page brief?
yeah.
It's a robust brief.
But like, we laugh, but it's not that uncommon, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, for a marketeer to not be able to say in a concise way what's the objective of a brief. You know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds really, really basic, but honestly, those are the things that are not going to change. You know,
Well, I like this thought.
I'm really shitty
basics.
at predicting how the future will be. You know, I still remember a friend of mine coming to me and saying, like, man, you need to look at this social media. It's really cool. I'm like, what is it? Or you can go there and you write 140 characters. And I was like, what the fuck anyone going to, like you can put pictures. You know you can put pictures on Facebook? Like, no one is going to, like, bah, you know, like.
You were wrong on that one.
Yeah, no, I know. But, like, that's the thing. I prefer, of course, I'm curious and I want to learn about the new things. But I spend much more time focused on the things that I know are not going to change and nailing that, you know, like, and I think that because we are here and like hot things are new and shining bright objects like AI and everyone is talking about that. And I think that sometimes we forget about the basics.
The process. I love it.
So that to me is underrepresented.
I love that as a place to end us, Fernando. Ladies and gentlemen, Fernando Machado. Brilliant.
You, guys.
NotCo, CMO. Thrilled. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Really appreciate it.